Are you feeling blue? Cut some bacon into small pieces and start cook it over a small flame so that some of the fat is render. Then add the diced cooked potatoes and cook slowly until the bacon and potatoes are completely crunchy. Eat with an egg. This is called bacon hash. Lately, my work has taken me away from doing all these reviews. Now, finally, I could find some time to do the reviews. If you are new here, please feel free to stick around. I'm Shirley. I usually talk about books on this channel. So now, you, my lovely viewers, grab a cup of tea, sit back and relax. Today, I'm going to talk about a book published in 1983, which is Heartburn by Nora Ephron. I read this in January of this year. This is definitely not about acid reflux. That's the first thing pops up in Google when you search for Heartburn. So the author Nora Ephron, even if you don't know about her, I presume you might have watched When Harry Met Sally, adapted from one of her novels. That was one of the outstanding movies I watched, so my expectations were high while reading this book. So Nora Ephron was an American journalist, writer, film director and screenwriter. This book is about what happened in her real life. Her second marriage, even her second husband tried to sue her when she published this book. I believe it was her therapeutic experience. By writing this, she vented her agony. There is a movie adaptation of Heartburn, played by Meryl Streep. Okay, so Meryl Streep, oh no, the protagonist Rachel is a cookbook writer. So I came across many recipes while reading this book. Believe me, it was good. To be honest, Rachel is indecisive. Her life is floating with the help of her personal therapist. This is totally new to me. Do people consult therapists regularly in the USA? Sorry, what I meant was, do people lead their life based on therapist opinion? It's pretty common. Everyone has issues in their personal life, but having personal therapist is another level. Coming back to the story, Rachel is Jewish but was not raised properly as Jewish princess. When she sees men and wonders if they are single and uncircumcised, she can't really fantasize about them without moving on to the marriage. Rachel's life is a disaster. Brenda and Rachel went to school together. The funny part was, Rachel's first husband Charlie slept with Brenda, whose sister married to Rachel's father. That was his third marriage. So this is Rachel's life. Surrounded by incorrigibly faithless men, her mother was a real washout at hardcore parenting. Finally, Rachel meets Mark at mutual friend's wedding. If you have noticed, the movie starts from here. Mark is a political columnist. Though she has second thoughts about getting married to Mark, she eventually marries Mark. They live in Washington, but she really hates it. You know, you can't get a good bagel in Washington. She is a proud New Yorker. They buy a dilapidated townhouse and renovate it. After 2 years, they are broke. It was funny and silly to read that they fought over mundane furniture and stuff. Then life went on. When she is 7 months pregnant with her second child, she finds a tragic note in her child's book that indicates her husband is having an affair with a tall woman. Then she immediately leaves for New York to live with her father. But deep down, she desperately wants to be with him. She desperately waits for him to call back. Then story goes on giving you more funny moments even when Rachel is heartbroken. Clearly, there are many laugh out loud moments. Missing contractor, blender, putting on the Ritz, Mac's lame excuses with light bulbs and socks, and of course burglary. This book is highly recommended to all those women who discover they have been are being cheated on. So this book is written in a non-linear fashion. So it often goes back to how she was raised, her parents' infidelity, her first and second marriages, and all life's mundane and miserable dramas. You know, only if you can narrate their unimaginable life twists and turns in a humorous way. So was Nora Ephron. It reminded me of Mitch from Marvelous Maisel, ditching her family in her shows and adding little jokes about being Jewish and her sex life. And this book is written from a first-person point of view. It is witty, funny, free-flowing narrative, but haphazardly written. The story construction was poor, I would say. I didn't admire the story as much as I loved watching When Harry Met Sally. And the recipes in the book, kriplok on the soup, the potato dishes, bacon hash and pies were delicious even while reading it. I watched Nora Ephron's interview. In one of the interviews, she spoke highly of Meryl Streep. She also mentioned Meryl Streep aka Nora Ephron because Meryl Streep could play anything. But I felt Jack Nicholson was so wrong for this role. Not for his acting or for their chemistry, but he was not charming but old. And that's it. To be short, Heartburn is Nora is finding out that her second husband is having an affair with a tall woman and how she reacts to it. Heartburn is hilarious, meandering, stand-up comedy style fictional autobiography of Nora Ephron. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and thanks for being with me. I will see you guys in another episode. Until then, a lot of love and hugs.